Peace and blessings, beautiful souls. Welcome to Positivity is the Key. I am Jeannie Muhammad, your global happiness expert. Thank you for being with me today, morning, afternoon, depending on where you are uh, on this earth. But thank you for taking time out of your precious schedule to spend time with me. I don't ever take that for granted. I am grateful. Uh, let's take care of a little housekeeping before we get started, because today I have a special guest and I'm excited about that. So I got to calm down a little bit and remember uh, all the things that I should be doing right now. So I want to invite you to visit my website. My website is iamjeaniem.com. My email is jeannie@iamjeaniem.com. And in addition to being a happiness expert, I also am an assertive and confidence coach, a holistic wellness coach. I am the author of 5 self development books that can be purchased at my website. And when you visit my website, there you will also see where you can visit my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is under Jeannie Muhammad, but when you visit my website, you can go to YouTube from there. And while you're there on my YouTube channel, please subscribe. I will greatly appreciate that. And also on my website, in addition to being able to purchase my books and go to my YouTube channel, you will find my blogs. And I think, in fact, I know that there will be something in one of my blogs, on my YouTube channel, in one of my books that will be able to help and aid you on your growth and development. I empower women who are challenged or have gone through challenges in their lives and have lost themselves. I empower them to understand that there is healing, and it's healing that can come from within. Please go to my website, and I know that there will be something there that will be of benefit to you. Now, to the exciting part that I have been excited about, because I have a special guest, and her name is Stacey Lepitre. And I am not going to really go into a lot about her because I want her to share her story with you. It so inspired me. And the more that I learn about her, I am even more inspired. So I want you to meet and greet her and get as excited as I am about her story and her journey of healing. Stacy,
Hi.
how are
Thank you so
you?
much for having me. I'm good. I'm
Okay,
good.
good, good, good. I am so excited about being able to speak with you today, chat with you today, and just have you share your story with our audience. So you just go ahead. You have the floor.
Yeah. I don't know what part of my story. There's so many pieces to it. So,
The
uh,
beginning, how just go to where you were telling me about your childhood, how you came inspired to be where you are today.
yeah. So just so that your audience knows, I am a certified health and life coach, and I am the community builder of the Beautiful You coaching app, where women can come and connect and grow and nourish their mind, body, and soul. It's just been a quite an honor and a joy to be stepping into that space to serve women on such a much higher level than I have been in the past. What motivated me to come into this space is that I'm a product of prostitution, and I was born an addict. And so I was like thrown into detox for the first 6 months of my life. So at the very beginning stages, I had that rejection seed kind of instilled into my DNA. Let's just quote it as DNA, which I don't know if that's scientific or not, but it was something that I've been battling with my whole life, is that rejection spirit. And my mom had a lot of mental health issues. She had a very traumatic upbringing. And she tried to self-medicate through addictions and alcoholism and sex. Like, there was two things that my mom taught me very well, was like, you spread your legs for love, and when times get tough, you pack the car and you run away. um,
Mm.
those were two things that I learned quite quickly growing up as a kid. And just realizing that I had fallen into a space where I had to be more mature than what I was, like as a child. Like, you just want to be, free and explore and all the things. And I had to be hyper aware of our circumstances every moment of every day, just not knowing what was going to happen with our dynamic at home. My mom had lots of different men coming and going, so there was lots of abuse. I had seen my mom go through some really horrific times in her in my childhood. So I can't imagine, even just when she was growing up, how horrific things that she went through. She did end up getting married to my stepdad when I was they got together when I was 6 years old. And so we had this like beautiful family. Like, I thought, finally my mom's getting it together, but he was an alcoholic and drug abuser as well. And so it wasn't like it had taken our life to a healthier stance. It just added more toxicity. There was still things going on there, the manipulation, the narcissistic behaviors, the gaslighting, all the things. And my mom had ended up, that relationship severed, and she went a little crazy because she lost her kids in that process. And so she had that mama bear instinct pop up in her. And so she did some things that, made the courts look at her as being an unfit mom. But all she wanted to do, that's all she lived for, was for her kids. And so when you take that away from somebody, that was like their lifeline, it was catastrophic for her. I ended up moving in with my mom when I was 15, because I had stayed with my stepdad, which was toxic in itself, but I stayed because I wanted to protect my little sister and brother. And I got to the point where I was 15 years old, and there was things happening in that home that I just couldn't take any longer. And so I decided to go and move in with my mom. She had another boyfriend that was beating her. Like, it was a regular thing, that she didn't know how to be in a relationship without abuse being part of the equation. And she didn't know that she was valuable or worthy of love, and that she didn't even know the concept unless abuse was part of the equation. And when I was 15, she had pulled me out of bed and sat me at the kitchen table and was sharing all of her hurt, which was not an uncommon scenario. This happened quite a bit growing up as a kid, that I would be her soundboard. So I feel like I've been in training to be a coach my whole life. Just being sat at the kitchen table and just learning how to listen and engage in her pain. And being an empath, you kind of carry a lot of that stuff. Well, that particular night, I knew that something wasn't as normal as any other night. So something told me, do not go back to sleep, even though I was exhausted. It was 3 a.m. and I'm like, I have school the next day, but something kept telling me, do not go back to sleep. So I didn't. My mom decided she was going to go have a bath, and everything was fine. She tried to reassure me. And I kept knocking on the bathroom door saying, hey, are you okay in there? And she'd be like, yeah. And then when about the third or fourth time I knocked on the door, there was no response. And so I busted down the door, and there my mom was. She sliced both her wrists, took a bunch of pills, and she was submerged under the water. I had pulled her out of the bathtub, my naked mother, and called 911. And I was just talking to her. She was foaming at the mouth. She was staring off into the distance. But I just kept talking to her. And I don't even know how I had a spirit of calm upon me. I had to have been, a supernatural spirit that was, with me, because anybody in that circumstance would be in complete panic. But for some reason, I had some sense of calm, and I was able to talk to her and keep her kind of somewhat with me. But her heart did stop by the time the ambulance got there. They had to bring her back, and they took her to the hospital. They bandaged her up and sent her home, not even hours later.
Mm.
No psychiatric help, no support, no getting her plugged into anything, to resources, to no checkups, nothing. And I feel like they truly failed her, because that was her scream for help. Like, she was
Mm.
being tormented in her own mind, and she did not know how to process it any other way but to say, hey, listen, I'm hurting, and this is what we're going to do about it. And I feel that if the system would have just gave her some tools or resources, or even some kind of a circle of influence in her life that she could lean on, and talk through some of the challenges that were going on inside of her without judgment. Come on, ladies. When people come to us and share stuff, we can't judge the mile that they've walked in, even though you may have taken a different turn in your own personal journey. You don't know why they took the turn that they did, unless you know the whole story. And so we have to be a little bit more sensitive to people's journeys. And so my mom, she went for a period of time where she was just, clawing her way out of this dark pit. And then something else snapped when I was 19. She had her second attempt and was successful. And it breaks my heart to know that today her story could have been different if she
Yes.
could have had the tools and resources
Yes.
in her life to manage. So that's what motivated me to come into this space, and to really give women a platform, a safe and secure platform, to really talk out the things that are going on in their head without judgment. Because who am I? I'm just, I'm just
That's
a
right.
orphaned girl, like, I'm a nobody in the big pond, But I believe that we all have a voice, and we all have the right to be able to have people listen and lean a shoulder of support. So that's what I've done. So
Oh, that's it's a heart wrenching story,
mm,
but at the same time, it's a story full of encouragement for others,
mm,
because seeing and knowing what you have gone through, and your story is so similar to mine in that I was your mother. You
oh,
know, I'm the one that was your mother. And so I understand, the impact that being there has on the children. So
mhm.
seeing where you have been able to elevate yourself is so inspiring, and so uh, I guess cleansing, to see where you have come up out of that and be able to reach back and say, I am going to use my pain, the pain that I went through, to be able to help someone else.
Yeah.
How long was it from the time you were 19 until you decided how you were going to channel that pain?
Oh, great question. I was 7 months pregnant when I lost my mom. And so I tell my daughter all the time, I'm like, you are my saving grace, because if I didn't have her, I was a fish out of water for quite a long time. But if I didn't have her to always have like a plumb line to come back to, be like, hey, you like get it together. Someone's relying on you, you know?
Mhm.
um, I probably would have gone down a whole different path of self medicating and the whole 9 yards. But I clawed my way. I made a lot of mistakes.
Mhm.
I did pack the car one time and tried running away from my problems. And God's like, no, no, I got a different plan for you, girl. You need to go back and change this generational curse, this
Right.
bondage that we got
Mhm.
wrapped up in, right? And so I had to start facing a lot of the things that I've done that I wasn't proud of, and apologize and do all the things. But there is this one scenario in my life where my older brother, he had taken that path. He had gone into addictions. He was stuck in that space for 22 years. He is now 3 years or 2 years clean and sober, and he is rocking his whole entire life and changed his whole
Good.
dynamic.
Good.
I'm so proud of him. And but it was a path that he took because he took on that guilt and he didn't know how to process it. And there's nothing we could have done differently to save her or to make her change her mind or do something different. She had um, so much within her. My husband's drumming. I'm sorry if you can hear that.
Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, he's a musician?
He's a drummer, yeah, and that's like his first morning routine. That's what he does is he goes bam bam and then he goes off about his day.
Oh, I love music. That's why, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I'll have him on here playing a tune.
He would be honored.
Oh,
Honored.
I would.
Um, yeah,
But
so when my brother went down that path, he ended up falling in. He lost his first marriage, and he was living in his car. And my mom always told us we always had to stick together. We only had each other. And
mhm,
so I invited him to move in with me and my daughter. And because I didn't know the severity of his addictions, it started like escalated within our home. And I'm a single mom. Like, I can't have this stuff in my home. Like, it
right.
was becoming very toxic. And so I had to remove him from my life.
Oh,
And we didn't speak because I hurt him deeply. And we didn't
yes.
speak for 14 years. And
Oh,
that was one of the
Stacy.
hardest things because he was like he was always the constant in my life, right? He's my
Mhm.
older brother. He was my protector. He was always witty and always knew how to make me laugh. And so he it was devastating when I had to kick him out of my life. And um, but I think it was something that needed to happen for him to, you when you're in that space of addictions, you don't understand the damage that you're doing. And when
Mhm.
you start to lose everybody in your life, the crazy thing is when he had his Mayday message and sent out a text to everyone in his contacts saying, "Hey, I'm an addict and I need help." I was the only one that responded. And so
Oh,
I was like, all right, let's get to work.
okay. But that is the first step, admitting and that you have a problem and
Yeah.
asking for help. So
Yeah.
was he in the same city as you at the time?
No, we did a lot of phone conversations for long, lengthy periods of time just to kind of talk through things. But it was that moment when I kicked him out of my life is when I fell to my knees and said, enough is enough. Like, I really am screwing everything up. I'm wrecking my relationships because of my own selfish needs and ideologies. And I just wanted to be different. I had this burning desire that my life was not going to be continued to replay the generational curses that have
Mhm.
been placed on us. So that's when I started seeking a relationship with faith and exploring my options in that area. And God got a hold of me and he just turned me inside out and said, all right, let's get to work.
He has a way of doing that, doesn't he?
He sure does. And he's so graceful at it because he ain't going to just, you know, um, make you do something that he ain't going to give you the strength to follow through.
That's
Right.
right. That's
So,
right. That's I was in my research about you. I
mm,
was reading. I was looking at uh, is it Hepzibah? Hepzibah?
Hephzibah. Yeah.
Hepzibah.
Yeah.
Hepzibah. Tell me about Hepzibah.
Yeah, so Hephzibah is a lady in the Bible, and her name she was changed. That was her new name that she was given by the Lord. And because she was so desolate in this land of like desert, like there she had nothing going for her, and God's like, no more for you. Your new name is Hephzibah, which I will crown you with beauty and give you lands of riches and crowns of might. Like there was just so much abundance that God wanted to bless upon her, but he had to take her from that desolate place and give her a new name. And so that's the name of my company, but no, not a lot of people can pronounce it or spell it, so it's not the greatest marketing tool. So I'm like, hey, go check out Hephzibah. So, so that's why I operate as Beautiful You Coaching, and but yeah, Hephzibah is my corporate name.
But the Hesbu, let me get it right.
It sounds like an F, so Hephzibah.
Hepzibah. And you know
Got it.
what? And you know what? Because my husband, and he'll probably kill me for saying this, but his
I
first
won't tell
name,
them.
yeah, don't tell him, okay? His first name is Jephthah. It's
Okay.
from the Bible, Jephthah. And he's always telling me it's pronounced like, phonetically like an L. And I'm like, so it's the same. 'Cause-
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So I gotta wrap my tongue around that because I'm always messing his name up. And he's like, phonetically, do it phonetically.
Just call him babe. You're good.
I just call him Jay. That's his name is Jay.
Nice. I love it.
But I love that name because I started researching it, and so I learned something, and if I can just ever get the pronunciation right, I'm on to something here because I found that she was the wife of was it Hezekiah,
Hmm.
the wife of Hezekiah, and that she was the adopted child of Isaiah. So I was like, oh, and it just started me on this, journey of researching, and I loved the story. And then I could better understand a beautiful you. How
Yeah.
yes.
The heart behind it all. Yes.
Yes. A beautiful you. Because I found her name means my delight in you.
Hmm.
So see,
True.
I was like, wow, okay, now I understand, you know, a beautiful you. Now tell me, how did you decide to do an app?
Oh, that was a vision. A gift from
Okay,
heavens. I was like I tell people back in the fall of 2020, because the app's only been a year, just over a year old.
okay,
Back in the fall of 2020, I had a bunch of spaghetti that I had been throwing on the wall that just kind of fell into a puddle on the floor. And I ended up taking it into the wrestling ring with the Lord and had myself a bit of a pity party. I'm kind of a child at heart, so I have temper tantrums sometimes still to this day.
okay, okay.
And I was just really challenged. I'm like, I have this huge vision in my heart, Lord, to do something magical in this world and to really touch women in a way that provide a space for them and let them know that I'm a safe ear without judgment. And I just did not know how to communicate that in the interwebs. And I had the vision of the app, and I couldn't even get my Zoom room to connect with my calendar. And so I'm like, that's too much tech for me, Lord. There's no way I got the know-how. He's like, I'll show you. So I was like, okay, I'll step out of the boat, and you got to keep your eyes on him and on the prize that he gives you, right? Like he gives you this vision. You can't just ignore those dream. I call them dream seeds,
Yes,
right? Because
yes,
if cultivate them and we water them, we have unknown potential attached to those seeds that are given to us from the heaven.
yes,
So
yes.
That's what I did. I thought I'd test the waters, and it has been an absolute joy to come into this space. And God is just delivering all kinds of really great things, and the potential of being able to bring in partners and just expand the leadership within the community so that the members get additional support. My other heart for women is so many of us need this coaching support or mentorship or just tools and resources in general, and we can't afford to access them. And that breaks my heart because so many people that are in that dark, dark pit, a lot of it, there's multiple layers to that pit. And
Right,
one of the layers is typically lack of finance, right? Where we're always playing
right,
the catch up game and paycheck to paycheck circle of chaos. And so I wanted to make sure that those women that could access tools and support and resources at a very low fraction of cost, to help them get out of the pit and then get to a space where they can hire in a one-on-one coach and go deeper with somebody. But until we can get above ground, it's really hard, right? So then you just give up on yourself. And I don't want women to give up. I want them to keep fighting and to keep moving forward. And so um, it's very cheap to be a part of my community.
and I was so it really impressed me, Stacy, because that was the first time I'd seen something like that. And as
Mhm.
far as I know, you're the first person that I've ever met that had an app. You know,
I still wonder myself, like, how did I get here? I'm not going to lie. Because I'm just an average person, right? So,
but that is the way that God works. I mean, when you step out on faith and He gives you a mission, and I really can really relate to that because so much of what I do I never ever saw myself doing. And I'm not a technical person either, Stacy. And here I am here pushing buttons, and I'm always having to be so careful because I'll push the wrong button, and you and I both would disappear.
I wouldn't be offended. I would completely
You'd
understand.
be like, "What happened to her?" But I walk by faith because I know that there are women that need and deserve what I have to offer. And
Mhm.
I know that, and one reason I was so happy about having you to share this space with me is because domestic abuse, drug addiction, uh, all of those things, homelessness, whatever we are, it crosses racial lines, it
Mhm.
crosses, you know, gender lines.
Yeah.
It has no respect of any of us,
No.
and and in order to combat it, we have to show that unity and show that love for
Come
each
on,
other.
sister. Preach it.
Yes, that love, because that
Mhm.
is what I feel is the greatest healing power that
Yeah.
comes from within us,
Yeah.
is that love that we can find that transcend everything else. And
That's
that's what makes a beautiful you. I,
right.
I see that love is what shines through and makes all of us beautiful.
That's right. Yeah, and we're all hungry for it, right? So, like,
Yes.
we're all starving to be loved and to have somebody to love. Like, when I had my daughter, I was 19. I was a month shy of 20, and everyone's like, oh, you were such a young mom. She wasn't an accident. I begged her dad to go off the pills so that I could have somebody to love me unconditionally. I
Mm,
didn't know what that was like, but I knew that all the crap that my family put me through, I still loved them. So that was the ticket to my answer was I thought I needed to have a child to love me
mhm.
unconditionally. Even if I messed up or said the wrong thing, they would still love me. And So she was planned, although I decided not to be with her dad because I realized that he had alcoholism tendencies. And I'm just like, I don't want to raise a child in that environment.
Mhm.
Thanks for your seed. I'm out. So, right or wrong, that is exactly the way my
No
thought.
judgment here. No judgment here. No judgment here.
And you know what? Like that seed was the strength and the foundation that I needed to carry me through the loss of my mom. Because if I didn't have her, I would have been a hotter mess. I can't say I wasn't a hot mess. I was. I would have been a lot hotter.
You did a hotter mess, huh? But
Yeah.
that's another way that God sets things in motion that we don't understand today what is happening today, how he may be lining that up for something that is to happen down the road. And
Yeah.
so that, even though we may not have had we think that we're the masters of it.
Yeah. No.
No,
We get free will, and sometimes I wonder why did he give us that ability. Um, but he does turn things for his purpose and glory. It all
yes,
kind of,
yes.
I look at it as a mosaic, it's all this broken tile that looks like garbage, like just sweep it up and throw it away, but somebody else looks at those broken pieces and takes methodical action and puts them together to create these beautiful masterpieces. And that's like all of us out here. We're just a heap of broken clay. Like somebody's got to come and put us back together. And who not better than the Heavenly Father, right?
That's right. That's right.
So,
And that's one thing I really believe, and I always say that that's why there are so many of us, because there's always someone there for you if we just open up and sometimes just ask for help.
yes.
And there are angels everywhere. There are
Mhm.
angels just and what he inspired you to do, Stacey, with your app, because it is a safe that someone can go and afford all of that wonderful information and be in that safe community for a little of nothing.
Yeah, $2. $2 a month.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I would give it away for free if I could, but I have to keep make sure it's safe. And there was some sketchy things happening last year, so I figured just a small monthly fee will help keep the community safe because the ones that are there, we can scrounge up $2. Um,
yes,
it's less
yes,
than coffee, right? So
yes,
yeah.
yes. And that's the beautiful thing of it. Well, our time has come.
Aww, it's such
Yes,
a joy chatting with you. I
I
just
know.
love your heart. I really
Oh,
do. You're just so genuine.
oh, thank you so much. And I feel the same way about you. So, it's a mutual admiration society going on here. Do you have any final words that you would like to say to the women that are struggling and feel that there is no one there for them?
Yeah. Don't believe the lie. I when I said that I heard the song Don't Believe the Hype.
Yeah,
Don't believe the lie.
yeah.
Because it is just a lie to keep you in solitude, and we are not meant to be alone. We're built for community. So expand your circle. This is what I tell my kids when they've gone through challenging mental health issues. Just you got to expand your circle. We as parents might not be able to fill the void. I might not be able to meet you where you're at or understand the journey that you've walked on, but I can promise you I will find somebody that understands your journey and that can come and speak to your heart and encourage you that that's the storm that you're in, the circle of that storm, it too will pass and you will get the rainbow and the beautiful skies once again. Don't give up and expand your circle.
Oh, that is beautiful, Stacey. And if someone wants to contact you, do they just go to the app store and search for your app or? Is that
Yeah, you can go in the App Store. It's Beautiful You Coaching is the name of the app, or you can go to my website to learn a little bit more about it before you download it. It's just staceylepitre.com. So,
okay? And
yeah.
spell your last name.
Yeah, it's Stacey with an EY, and it's Lepitre, L-E, P as in Peter, ITRE.com.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Stacey. And I'm gonna put you backstage, but don't leave, okay?
Okay, sister. Thank you.
Okay. And thank you so much for being with me today.
It was such an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome. Oh, that was wonderful. I am so grateful for the people that I have been blessed to meet on this journey that I'm on, encouraging everyone to be positive and to know that there is a life after the pain and the hurt that we go through. We just have to hold on and know that there are people that really genuinely care and want to help. So I thank Stacey for being with us today. And my name is Jeannie Muhammad. I am your global happiness expert. And as always, thank you for being with me. I appreciate you being here. My website is uh, iamjeaniem.com. My email is jeannie at iamjeaniem.com. Reach out and let me know if there's any way that I can be of service to you. And until we meet again, stay blessed and stay safe.